Hello, everybody. I bet y'all are wondering where the hell have I been since the Moscone Cup? Why didn't I just get right back into the swing of things right when I got home? Well, if anybody can remember, I've been sick for quite some time, long before I went to the Moscone Cup. If y'all remember during my last live stream that I had when I did some more straight pull, I was coughing a whole lot, which you can see I still have a little bit of a cough. But when I went to Las Vegas and watched the Moscone Cup, which was a wonderful time, on the final day when I went down to the arena to watch the match, I started feeling terrible, and I mean absolutely terrible. Like, if you can ask anybody that was there with me, like, I wasn't very energized. I at least clapped, but I didn't shout or scream or stand up, nothing. I was just kind of just sitting there and watching. And I was just feeling really, really terrible. And so by the time Joshua Filler made the match winning point, I went straight to my hotel room, took some medication, and fell asleep, and then pretty much woke up with a fever and was feeling really sick. So I had to take all the medication in the world that I can think of to try to safely get on the plane and come home, because I didn't want to be stranded in Las Vegas and have to go to a hospital there to figure out what was wrong with me. I wore a mask while I was on the plane to Vegas and from Vegas. That was just my decision I decided to do. When I was walking around the airport going to Vegas, I didn't have a mask on, but when I was in close quarters, like on the plane, that's when I wore a mask. But coming home, I wore a mask, walking through the hotel, into the Uber, into the airport, into the airplane, and then finally got home. Scheduled an appointment with a doctor the moment I got home, and was only able to get like a video visit, basically something like this. Couldn't actually see a doctor until like a month later, which I couldn't wait. But the doctor that I was able to see managed to schedule me to come into a clinic to get tested for COVID, influenza, and just everything else. And it was pretty much a nose swab thing. And lo and behold, I tested positive for influenza A. I've had the flu since I've been home, which is why you haven't seen me do any content since the Moscone Cup. And I feel better than I was when I got home, but as you can tell, I still have a little bit of a residual cough. According to the doctor, the cough is going to be around for a couple of weeks. I just have no clue when it's going to go away. But I feel like that I'm in a well enough state now to where I can go live and or start producing content on YouTube again. And I was debating on what I was going to do tonight, and what y'all saw in the thumbnail is something that I've had in the back of my mind for quite some time now, to where I wanted to post doing drills, like make recordings of doing drills. But then I figured, you know what? It probably would be better if I actually just did them on live streams, to where I feel more accountable if I do them on live streams than when I do recorded. Because anybody that knows me knows that I'm not really a drilling type of person or a drilling type of player. I mean, I would rather just throw the balls on the table, practice my breaks, and then work on runouts. Occasionally set up some banks and set up some kicks, and that's about it. And repetitiously do that over and over again. But some of the other pool YouTubers out there that have been actually posting like some rather good exercise drills. I've done a couple of exercise drills on my channel, so I figured this is going to be a good way for me to hold myself accountable, to make me go through some drills. And what I can hope will happen, besides being able to hang out with everybody, kind of like when I do a live stream of playing the Ghost or doing any of my straight pull stuff, which I will still continue to do. If I manage to walk through whatever drill I decide to do, or drills that I decide to do tonight, and if I successfully complete the drill, then I can clip that portion of the drill, not just the successful portion, but the failing portion, and kind of make a recorded video and just republish it. So you basically get to hang around with me, or hang out with me, while I'm trying to make a recorded video. So if I don't successfully complete a drill that we decide for me to do tonight, then I probably won't be able to make content out of it. But if I do successfully create one, then because I'm also recording the live stream while I'm actually streaming. That way I can throw it into my video editing software, chop up the pieces that I want, and then produce whatever content I want. So like I said, if there's a successful completion of a drill, I'll have to put up a cue ball diagram to explain like where I'm possibly hitting at on the cue ball, etc., etc. Might have to do some voiceover work to really explain what I'm doing, depending upon how the audio sounds when I'm out by the table, because y'all know that the audio is kind of echoey. It should sound at least pretty good while I'm here, and then if I'm standing in front of the table with the shotgun microphone, it should sound okay. But when I'm at the table shooting shots, it'll be a little echoey. You might not be able to hear me as well unless I speak loud enough. And depending upon my cough, I don't know how loud I'm actually going to talk. But I think this is going to be good. This is something new I want to try on top of still doing my straight pull live streams, which I actually had a decent practice session tonight. I shot a 40, I think it was a 46 earlier today. And so I still try to do those on a regular basis. And then my schedule has opened up a little bit because I no longer play APA on Mondays. Now I only play it on Wednesdays, and I still play BCA on Sundays. So the APA live streams are going to happen like maybe every 2 weeks, because I want to get 2 recordings of matches for me to do a live stream like I've done before, instead of just doing one, since I'm only playing it one time a week. And so that way on Mondays and Tuesdays, I can hopefully either do a live stream or work on some content or whatever. And then hopefully this Saturday night drills, the SND, hopefully is something I can do on a regular basis, because I can continuously do the same drills over and over again, or I can try to do different drills. I mean, it all just depends on what I research and come up with, and or what y'all come up with, because I'm not going to try to be the one to just entirely run the show. It'll be more of a matter of, what do y'all want me to try? Y'all want me to, set up a line drill to do some banks? Do y'all want me to try to do a wagon wheel drill? Do y'all want me to try to do, just whatever? The only thing that I would ask is, I don't want to do like ridiculous 15 ball pattern type drills where it relies more on being able to run out. If anybody's followed me long enough, y'all know that my interpretation of what a drill is taking, one or a couple of mechanics and continuously work on them over and over and over and over, right? Because if I have just a ridiculous pattern layout of balls all over the place, and I just have to run them in a specific order or whatever, and I'm employing all types of skills, well, I might as well just try to break and run a rack. So examples are, like I already see here, Shortstop on Pool is suggesting that I might try, wait a minute, why is this stuff not working? There we go. Let's try this again. There we go. Shortstop on Pool is suggesting Fedor's center line drill. Whether you want to say it's Fedor's center line drill, because I am following Fedor Gorst's YouTube channel. If y'all don't already know about it, just look it up. I think it's like Fedor Gorst Pro Player or something. He's already producing some really good content, which I think is fantastic. But when I saw Fedor Gorst's drill, I thought it was very comparable to Niels Feijen's center line drill as well. Who came up with it first? Who cares? I think it's just a really good exercise to do. So like, that's something that I can obviously try. And I did forget that I had to put up my sponsors, so I do want to give a shout out to my sponsors, Onboard Sportswear. I do have an ongoing discount code with them, which it should be Lil Chris 10. I can't believe I keep on forgetting what it could be. So give me just a second. I don't want to mislead anybody as to what the discount code is. I should have it memorized off the top of my head, but I don't. Yes, it's Lil Chris 10 in all caps, LILCHRIS 10. So if you go to their website, onboardsportswear.com or .us if you're in the United States, you can get 10% off your purchase. And if those are not familiar with Onboard Sportswear, they're the same company that makes the jerseys for the Mosconi Cup. The only caveat is that if you go to their website and you attempt to purchase anything Matchroom related, then my discount code does not apply. It only applies to just onboard specific types of apparel, which would be any of the jerseys that are not like Matchroom associated, or any of the jackets. Basically anything not associated with Matchroom Pool, and then you can use the discount code that I have there. All right, so this is a good question from Loping CSF. He wants to know what about drill recommendations based on skill level? Well, when you think about it, any drill that by my definition that's a drill applies to all levels, right? I don't consider, like I said, if you look at some of the drills that I know that like some of the older videos from Darren Appleton where he's got like a 15 ball line going from corner pocket to corner pocket, and he manages to shoot all 15 balls into the corner pocket. Like, I certainly don't recommend that. It's certainly fantastic to do, very challenging to do, but I wouldn't suggest an APA 3 try something like that. Now, line drills, though, those are a thing, right? Where you try to, like, you can set up 5 balls in the center of the table and try to shoot all 5 balls into the one of the side pockets, because it helps you use, or it helps you practice small, tight cue ball movements, like stunning over for the next shot, et cetera, et cetera. So that's pretty much what I want to attempt to do tonight. So what I already saw was Shortstop Pool's suggestion, which is to do the center line drill. So we'll go ahead and give that a try first. So let me turn this off. Now, I don't exactly remember how many balls are supposed to be used, but we can certainly try it to something like this. Now, I'm not going to do all of the levels of the drill. I mean, I can certainly try, but when you're starting out, I think what he ended up doing was something to this effect. And anybody can correct me if I get something wrong. Because what I don't want to do is I don't want to spend like the entire live stream setting up a drill. All right, so I think it's something like this, and I've got 9 balls all on the head string here, or at least along the head string. And I'll just take the cue ball, and we'll plot the cue ball right here in the center of the table. So the objective is, can I shoot the cue ball into any of the corner pockets, and I can choose any ball that I want. But the key is that when I shoot the cue ball in first, whatever ball I decide to shoot has to stay between 1 diamond to and from the side pockets. So my object ball has to stop somewhere in this zone here. If I don't successfully do that, then I would have to start over, and then of course if I miss, I would have to start over. So really, this kind of allows you to pick apart how you want to do this because it's not like I want to start with the 2 ball. I could start with the 2 ball, play a stop shot, but then what am I going to do with the 1 ball? All right, so I got to really figure out how I'm going to pick these balls apart and shoot them in to try to keep position within the center of the table. I'm not going to be too picky about where the balls actually start, but let's see here. Let's see what I can do. So a lot of things that I would think this would apply to any drill that you do, and that is how you want to practice your fundamentals. How do you want to approach a shot, sight your whatever your aiming system is, if you're using ghost ball or whatever. But how do you want to plant your feet? How do you want to get down on the shot? How many practice strokes you want to take? Do you pause in the back? Do you pause? Whatever your fundamentals are, you definitely want to be able to work on all of them, regardless of what drill that you're running. I think I'm going to go ahead and start with the 2 ball. So the 2 ball is a little flat on the cue ball, so I might be able to just kind of stun it a little bit closer to the 1 ball. Actually, I got a stop shot out of it. So whatever ball I decide to shoot next, at some point in time, I would kind of want the ball to start drifting over this way, so that way I can hopefully use the 1 ball to shoot it. Because I can shoot the 1 ball. I can shoot the 1 ball now as the cue ball and try to get my cue ball to drift this way, but then make sure that I still stay in the zone that I would want to stay in. You're allowed to touch the side rails. There's nothing wrong with that. You just can't leave the zone that that you're restricted to stay in. I think here now I'm going to try the 7 ball. And see, I got the 7 ball to kind of drift over closer to the 1 ball. And this is good. I might be able to shoot the 1 ball now. Double check my zone. All right, so I'm doing just fine as far as staying in the zone. I'm pretty straight in on with the 8 ball, so I'll just use the 8 ball and kind of drift forward a little bit. That way I can afford to do some stop shots because I'm well within the zone right now. And I'm pretty straight with the 9 ball, so I might as well go ahead and use that and then leave myself hopefully these 4. So if I do a stop shot, it looks like I can use the 3 or 4 next. That's pretty good. Maybe the 3. Let's try the 5. Now this is where it gets tricky because both angles that I have here, the 6 is probably the best one because I think I can kind of stun over and leave for the 4. But the 4 isn't really a good ball for me to shoot at because you can see how much of a cut angle I have, so I would lose control of the 4 ball. So I'm going to have to try to use the 6, stun out maybe over here so I can hopefully be flat with the 4 ball as my final ball. Yikes. So I hit that just a little too hard. So now the only thing I can hope for is I have to go from side to side and stay within the zone, which is going to be real difficult to make sure that I avoid scratching. And not only did I miss, I at least stayed within the zone. So there's the center line drill. Let's go ahead and try it again. That actually wasn't bad considering that was my first attempt. I didn't think I was gonna do that well on my first attempt. So what's the major benefit from this drill? Well, you can see the majority of my shots were stop shots. Except for the last one where I have to really control the cue ball to be able to stay within the zone. Had I just made the ball, and I still would have been in the zone, which would have been good. Let's see if I can do this again. All right. This time I can start with the 7 ball. Let's see what I want to do here. I feel like I want to just eliminate this and then kind of work my way this way. But I don't really have angles to do that. This gets interesting. I wish this would have came over just a little bit more. Just a little bit more. You can see how much harder this is starting to get for me. I gotta see if I can get above the side pocket and then spin it back, so that way I can stay in the zone. Not so good on that one. So you can kind of get the idea of how difficult or how easy you can make this become, all depending upon what order you're going to shoot these in, and then how you decide to try to control the cue ball. Let's try to make another attempt at this. The whole idea after this, though, is if I successfully complete it, then I can take this entire line and move it back half a diamond. noticing how I'm trying to keep my head perfectly still. I know that's something people have told me time and time again, that sometimes I lift my head up. So I have been working on that. Nope, I'm outside the zone. I gotta start over. But this is the frustrating part about drills, is getting as far as you can get and then having to start over. Very much how like my high run attempts usually get me. Like if you get done doing like a good 40 or 50 ball run and then screw up and then have to start back over. Oh, man. At least would have stayed in the zone. All right. So the whole time you're watching me do this, you should hopefully be learning, well, how would you attempt to do this? What order of balls would you attempt to do? How would you transition the ball to set up for the next shot, et cetera, et cetera. So like, for example, if I wanted to try this, I haven't tried this start yet. All right, so I'm going to isolate the one ball down here. Ooh, did I really want to do that? That would have been nice. Yep, because then I could try to stun over. That would have worked. So that's a pattern that I can try again. And really, what this should really hopefully show is the idea that if you look at me, I'm currently rated a 632 in Fargo. I'm an APA 7 in 8 ball and an APA 9 in 9 ball. So if you get to watch me struggle doing something like this, and you feel that you're either similarly skilled or higher or lower, then maybe this should give you some idea of how many attempts it might take you to be able to successfully complete the drill. get a nice slow roll on that one. Oh. Okay, we're still good. We're in the zone. This gets interesting. How do I want to do this? Ah! That would have been good. Yep, that got me on the one. Okay, so if I just wouldn't have missed that one. Give this a couple more tries and then take a break. It's funny how my first attempt at this was the best, and then I'm slowly declining after that. Okay. Still good? I wonder if I can make this and get the 8-ball back in the middle of the table. Alright, so that helps a little. Wish the 8-ball would have moved just a little bit more though. As you can see, my shots are getting harder and harder now. Oh, I was trying to avoid that. If I'd have just hit the rail and came back out, I might have been okay. So really, it looks like one good trick would be to get the object ball past the side pocket and near a rail to where you can cut it in, kind of like that, and avoid the scratch, which I clearly did not successfully do. That way you have the ability to maneuver the cue ball. The first couple of shots are more like stop shots and stun shots, but then there might be at least one or two shots where you slide into the rail and try to come back out. That's at least what I'm seeing. Oops. That was probably my worst attempt. Actually, I kind of like the way that was going too, if I can do the same thing. Start over to get straight, to get fairly straight on the 9 ball. One of the shots that I'm really seeing is the stun run through. Kind of like that. Just be able to gently stun the ball and go forward instead of stunning the ball backwards. So now, if I play this stun shot correctly, I might be able to get position on the 8. Well, not like that though. Okay, this might work. Just do one quick double check. Actually, I like this better. Flat on the 3, which I would probably want to just gently roll. This would be where if I can, like right now, this is the shot that I have on the 8 ball. So if I can get the 3 ball to stop right here, that's a perfect straight in shot. So this is what I mean by a stun run through. I want the 3 ball to just gently roll through the 2 ball. I hit this slightly above center and firm. It didn't really stop, but it didn't roll forward enough, so I probably could have hit that a little bit harder or hit it firmer. Now if I can just not miss, not scratch. And there we go. Completion of level 1. I'm not sure how many attempts that took, but that's at least level 1. So, what did y'all think of that? Let's have a look here. I was watching Nate. I talked Nate into doing some straight pull. Holy crap, Kurt Murray, thank you so much for the 200 stars on Facebook. I really do appreciate it. Also, it was a pleasure to meet you in Las Vegas because he was part of the Cue It Up network. But you can see here from Nate, I talked him into doing some straight pull when he found out that he just missed my birthday, especially since we were in Vegas. So I told him, play some straight pull because he typically likes to play 10 ball when he live streams. And so I said, play some straight pull and score at least 15 points, which means complete a rack and then make the break ball. With or without breaking open the rack, it doesn't matter. And it took him a while. It took him a while to finally, he almost did it on his very first try, just like how I almost completed level 1 of that drill on my very first try. But then after that, it took him some time to finally catch a gear, and then finally he was able to get 15. I think he got 15 once, and then he got 16. He was able to do it twice. And then I kind of got him into doing more straight pull, which I think is good. All right, right, cool. So there's at least level 1. So if I wanted to do level 2, I would set it up again, but move the entire line back half a diamond. And I can get all the way back to where I'm only half a diamond away from the head rail. That would be like the ultimate way to practice. So now that I've completed level 1, at some point in time, I may try it again tonight, or maybe on the next live stream, I'll try level 2. The whole purpose isn't for me to be able to just go through every single solitary level. It's try to give a couple attempts at a drill, see if I can complete it, and then if I can or if I can't, then move on and try another drill. So cool. I'm glad that I was able to successfully complete at least the first drill that was mentioned for tonight. So give it a try, see if it helps. Like I said, what you should have been able to notice, and actually let me do this. What you hopefully should have been able to notice is how the majority, depending upon the routes at which you take, but you saw the cue ball whatever ball I was using for a cue ball, a lot of it had to do with just stunning over from side to side. You don't really want to do a stun draw because you don't want to come outside of the zone this way. But then as you saw that very last shot, I wanted to be able to hit the ball and have the cue ball that I was using replace it and roll just a little bit more forward, so that way I was perfectly flat on my last shot, and I could have just done a stop shot. So what do I see as the benefit of this drill is the amount of stun that you can do or stun run-throughs. And if you're lucky enough to get a shot that looks like this, then maybe you can try to do a cut shot, use the rail, and pull it back towards the middle of the table. But I think ultimately what I saw here was a lot of tight cue ball movements, mainly dealing around center ball, maybe a little bit of draw, and maybe a little bit of follow, all depending upon what angle you end up doing. Now, when you move over to level 2 and level 3, as you get further and further behind, that might change a little bit. I currently do not know. I might have to use a little bit more draw. I might have to hit the ball a little bit more firmer. It really just depends. But at least for level 1, I would think in order for you to complete level 1, you'd want to emphasize your shots on stunning the ball, stopping the ball, or doing a stun run through. So I hope that helps. Okay. Whew. Let's see here. It's getting kind of warm in here. Turn on the AC. Don't think that's the AC. That's the AC. Okay, there we go. Okay. Whew. All right. So, what's everybody's opinions on that drill? Do y'all think that's a useful drill that can actually help at least for level 1? Like I said, until I get to level 2, 3, and 4, I'm not entirely sure like what the benefits of it are going to be. But do you agree or disagree on whether or not what it takes to actually complete level 1? And lo and behold, like I said, as a 632 Fargo rated player, APA 7, APA 9, and 8 ball and 9 ball, you saw how many attempts it took me to be able to complete the drill. And one thing I know is that sometimes drills can be rather discouraging. So I was able to do it with 9 balls on the table. Don't exactly know if that's how many balls Fedor uses, but it's along the same principle. I mean, Niels Feijen does it with all 15. Across the head string and does the same thing and then moves the ball back. So the reason why I'm saying what I'm saying is if you can't do 9, try 5 or 4 or whatever. No, obviously not 1, and I don't think 2. I would probably think 5, 4 or 5. A 4 or 5 line would probably be a good start, and then progressively add more balls until you get either 9 if you want to do Fedor's style, or all 15. If you want to do Niels Feijen style, and then when you're able to do that, then you move back half a diamond and do the same exact thing. And I couldn't agree with you more, shortstop on pull, that it's a very useful drill because it's more about your mechanics than the actual shot. So as y'all saw, my emphasis was how I stepped into the shot, how I bridged, trying to keep my head perfectly still. I don't know if I'm still slightly lifting up, but I can feel my cue touching my chin. So as long as I don't feel a disconnect, then I know that I'm not moving, which is kind of what I'm emphasizing on, more and more. Oh, Blue Sky 21, you see my lathe back here. Do I make my own cues? No, I don't at the moment. I do replace my own tips, and then I also have fixed dents in some wooden shafts here and there. I've cleaned wooden shafts here and there. I've replaced one ferrule. Didn't really like the job that I did on it. I think I still got more to learn with replacing a ferrule. But currently, that's all I can do with the setup that I have here. I haven't tried building my own queue, and I think I'm a long ways away from attempting, or let alone wanting, to be able to try to build my own queue. Okay, so if any of y'all want to give that drill a try to see if it helps your mechanics, let me know. Post a video of it on your Facebooks or whatever, or just email it to, or I wouldn't say email it to me privately. I would say maybe if you're on YouTube, upload it to your YouTube channel privately, and then email me the link to the video, and I can maybe take a look at it and offer some pointers or something. But I think that is a drill that I can get behind because I don't consider it too terribly difficult, because you're roughly doing the same thing on every single solitary shot. And so being able to just stun your cue ball from side to side to be able to pick the order that you want to be able to do, I think that's really good. It's very similar to when you're just doing regular line drills and using the cue ball, and you just have to stun over to each individual ball. But again, that's just my opinion. Everybody's welcome to disagree on it. Now, let's see. How long have I been streaming? That was basically an hour of intro, and then of course attempts there. Does anybody have another drill that they would like me to try? Either a drill that a local player has given you, a drill that you've seen any of the other YouTubers post. I'm more than happy to give it a try. But like I said, I don't want some ridiculous pattern drill where all 15 balls are in place, and they have to be set up in a certain way, because I don't want to spend 5 minutes basically setting up the drill only to be able to screw it up like one or two attempts in. Let's see. John Walsh, you're saying you put one up a few comments ago. Let's have a look. Let's see. You're saying a drill for light pace cue ball feel setup and normal 8. Whoop. Kind of lost it there. Hold on a second. Let's see. You're saying a drill for light pace cue ball feel setup and normal 8 or 9 ball rack. Put a dollar bill on the break spot and the cue ball on that. You have 3 shots to go around the rack and back onto the dollar bill without touching any rails. I'm not sure I understand the purpose, or let alone the setup. Let me look at this again. Set up a normal 8 ball or 9 ball rack, put a dollar bill on the breaking spot and the cue ball on that. If I understand at least that comment there, you're saying if I break anywhere on the head string, wherever I decide to place my cue ball, I would want to place basically a dollar bill, which sounds like it's a target. Because then you're saying I have 3 shots to go around the rack and back onto the dollar. If I read to go around the rack and back onto the dollar bill without touching any rails, I don't understand how that's physically possible. Am I breaking? I'm not sure I understand the setup there, John. Because if I'm breaking, I would have to hit the rack and then basically attempt to draw the cue ball back onto the dollar bill. At least that's what it sounds like that you're talking about. I'm not entirely sure. Oh, this is a good one. Shortstop on pool says, start with 1 ball in the jaws of the pocket, cue ball on the head spot, and try to shoot a perfect stop shot. The next object ball becomes the cue ball on the on the head spot. Continue shooting continue shooting nothing but stop shots. So that's a good stop shot drill. Because if you start to veer off to one side, then you'll end up hitting one of the rails, which wouldn't be the objective. So John, you're saying you go around the rack without touching. Oh, okay. You're talking about gently hitting the cube. Okay, I think I understand. I'm gonna make one or two attempts at this. I think I understand what's being asked for here. Let's see here. I took off the reinforcement labels because I cleaned this area and I just haven't put any labels back on. That's why you actually see me pulling it back. All right, so I think I understand what John's suggestion is doing. I think I have seen variations of this, but I don't have money on me at the moment, so I'm going to use my shark skin from Houseful. So I think what he's talking about doing, so correct me if I'm wrong, is I want to be able to shoot the cue ball around the rack in multiple shots. I'm not allowed to touch the rails, but the idea is for me to get the cue ball right back over here to this spot. So for example, I want to do something like this. He said, but he did say I have to do it in 3 shots. That's one. Now I'm not going to be able to do it in 3. I can tell you that right now. Oh, and I hit the rail. So I had to start back over. So let's try this. Maybe if I start here, this will make it a little bit easier. Because I can do this first. Oh, geez. So you can see I think the purpose of this is to teach you how to be able to gently move the cue ball around. Sometimes you have to shoot a shot this soft. So 1, and oh gosh, I mean I should be able to at least see the spot when I do this one. 2. Now on my 3rd shot, can I land back on that pad? There's 3. And I just barely went over it. So I think that's what John Walsh was talking about. You have 3 shots to be able to go around the rack. And it seems like to me that would be the best way to do it. You have to start on the side so that way you can just come straight up past the rack, go straight across, and then come straight down. So you're essentially doing from your viewpoint would be an N. You're trying to draw the letter N in order to get back onto the, or not having it because it'll be a diagonal shot to go back to it. But yeah, I could see some benefits. I could see some benefits with that drill there. Like I said, it teaches you how to lightly touch the cue ball. Am I echoing right now? Hang on a second. What about right now? Am I echoing right now? I think essentially when I start echoing is because the table microphones end up picking me up at the same time as this microphone. Okay, yeah. So right now I can see that the table microphones, I can see on my streaming software, the table microphones are currently picking me up. So that's where the echo is coming from, which I'm surprised that they're picking me up. They shouldn't be. There we go. They shouldn't be picking me up that well. Let me check the filters. All right. Let's see here. Does that? Okay. I think this should be a little bit better. We'll just have to wait and see. But at the very least, if I mute the table microphones when I'm right here, it won't be as echoey. And then I just have to remember. I just have to remember to unmute them when I'm out there. What is this here? Persistent Wolf Billiard says you would definitely like to see me do an expert level of the kiss back drill. What's the kiss back drill? Is that the one where you shoot a ball straight into the head rail, have it come back and try to hit your cue ball and have the cue ball hit the tip of your cue? Is that what you're talking about? William McDowell, you're wanting to know, do I have a normal practice routine? Something I always do when I practice. Well, at this particular moment in time, one of the things that I end up practicing on a regular basis is my straight pull high runs. So I always start with a break ball and then try to make the ball smash the rack open and then run a large amount of balls without missing. When I'm done with that, then I work on my 10 ball break, which is basically the pop break, trying to get the cue ball to pop into the air, come back onto the table, and then stop near the center of the table, because that break works well for both 8 ball and 10 ball, since 10 ball is basically just a smaller 8 ball rack. I eventually plan on making a video on the pop break, an actual recorded video, because of some of the mechanics that I've been able to discover. You can ask Persistent Wolf Billiards and Sensei Nate Tam. They were with me in Las Vegas when we were at Griff's, and I did on my Facebook page, you can see a recording of me executing like the perfect 10 ball pop break. I mean, I got the cue ball to bounce back and land pretty much right on the center of the table, and I made a ball on the break, and it was recorded in slow motion. It was just beautiful. But those are typically what I work on a regular basis, because I do essentially try to just break and run racks, which is why I'm more so on doing this type of live stream, to where I'm holding myself accountable to actually go through some actual practice drills like I did so far. Let's see here. Okay, so Persistent Wolf Billiard is saying take an object ball and freeze it against the rail. Cue ball shot into it must roll back between the second diamond, either side of center line. Okay, so I will give that a try if I understood what was being asked. If I understand what's being asked, freeze a ball to the rail. I'm guessing it's some sort of setup like this. And I want the cue ball to come straight back. I don't think I'm allowed to touch the side rails. I can go ahead and try to stay perfectly still and see if the cue ball will come back and hit my tip. But let me at least demo what I think he's asking for. Because what you don't want to do is this, right? Because the cue ball and the 1 ball still double kissed. That's how they ended up going in the direction that they went. But that's not the objective. The objective is at least to have the cue ball come back. Now, what I probably don't understand, this is what I'm going to have to keep remembering. All right, hopefully you hear me a little bit better when I'm out here now. So what I'm not sure I might not understand is, how does the cue ball come back? So when I see this, the first thing I think of, and I know there's a ball frozen to the rail, I want the cue ball to have a little bit of backspin when it hits the ball. Because once the ball hits the rail and hits the cue ball is already spinning in the direction that I want it to go afterwards, which is come back to me. Now, I'm not necessarily wanting to draw the ball, but I do want it to have, I want it to not stun into the 1 ball. It has slight backspin on it by the time it hits it. So hopefully get a result that looks like this. Now, because the ball goes off that way, that tells me that I hit slightly to the left of center. And I didn't at least hit a rail, and I didn't pass the side pocket. So I think passing the side pocket was another requirement. So I can try it again. And then Wolf, you'll just have to tell me if I'm even doing this correctly or not. I think this is very similar to the stop shot drill. So I would probably elect doing the stop shot drill over this, because at least with the stop shot drill, I'm attempting to make a ball. So I can do something like that. That's why I want the draw to be on the ball, because if there's any forward roll by the time the cue ball hits the one ball, the cue ball's not going to come back. It'll just stay up there. So let me see what the opinions are on that. Am I even doing that correctly? So let's have a look. Well, you said that I was pretty close to passing on that. Oh, okay. Let me do a couple more attempts if I read this correctly. It has to stay within 2 diamonds. So if I read that correctly, if I read that correctly, then since the one ball is on the center diamond, the cue ball has to stay either 1 diamond to the left or 1 diamond to the right of the center diamond. So let me give that a shot again. Now I would not necessarily consider this to be a stroke drill. I think this is more of an aiming drill. Because it doesn't take a stroke to do what I'm attempting to do here. If I can hit that one ball straight in the face, like that, right? If I didn't let the cue ball hit the tip of my cue, I would have stayed within this zone here, which I think is what's being asked for. So I don't necessarily consider that to be a stroke drill, because it doesn't take a stroke to make that happen. That's why I was explaining about having the backspin on the cue ball, so that way when you get the double kiss from the one ball, that the one ball will just shoot the cue ball straight back. And so I think if anything, that helps test your eyes to make sure, are you hitting perfectly center? Because if you see your cue ball veer off to the left or veer off to the right, then you're not getting a square hit on the one ball. So I think that at least helps you with aiming. Now, my only opinion to doing something like that is, I think aiming is just better justified when you're making a ball. Again, that's just my opinion on that. So, is it a drill that's useful? Of course it is, because like you said, there are parameters which you have to abide by in order to be able to complete the drill, which is to stay within that 1 diamond zone. But to me, I don't think it would be any different than if I were to do shortstop on Pool's suggestion on the stop shot drill, which is to try to keep the cue ball and the object ball in a perfect straight line and continuously do stop shots over and over again without coming anywhere near a rail. Because the moment you accidentally cheat the pocket and cut a ball in, your cue ball is going to drift to one side or the other, which is something you don't want to do if you're trying to hit the ball straight in the face. So I think there's just that gratification of when you're trying to do a drill like that and you're making a ball, you just feel more satisfied being able to do that. Okay, so William McDowell, you say you play the ghost with rotation. You take 6 balls, you throw them across the table, and you start with ball in hand. If you run out, you win. If you miss, you lose. Race to 10 against the ghost. And if you win, you add a ball. So I don't have an issue with it. That's kind of the way I practice also. But what you're describing to me isn't drilling, right? So the whole purpose that I'm trying to emphasize on tonight is drilling. Because when you're trying to run 6 balls on the table, since you throw them out onto the table, wherever they end up is wherever they end up, and you take ball in hand, and you're going to have to unleash almost every skill that you can think of. You're going to have to use bottom spin on certain shots. You're going to have to use stop shots on certain shots. You're going to have to use follow, top left, top right. You're going to unleash everything you can do to be able to run 6 balls. And then when you add a ball, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, whatever, you're still doing the same thing. So you're essentially practicing your runouts, but you're not drilling a specific skill in order to be able to improve that skill that you want to do. So I don't necessarily consider that drilling. It's a form of practice, but I don't consider it to be a form of drilling. If you were to take 6 balls and set up straight in shots and do like 6 draw shots, well, now you're drilling on your draw stroke. Like, how far can you draw back? Can you draw back consistently? Can you draw back a foot, 2 foot, 3 foot? You're always trying to do the same thing over and over again. That to me is what I consider a drill. Speaking of which, is there any other drills anybody would like me to attempt? And I think I'm going to keep the stream short. I've been streaming for an hour and 12 minutes, so I think I'm gonna cut the stream at the 2-hour mark. So far I've done Fedor Gorst's center line drill. And then I've done John Walsh's finesse. We'll call it like a finesse drill, where you have to gently be able to maneuver the cue ball around a rack without having to touch a ball. And then I've tried the kiss back drill so far. Is there any other drill that someone would like me to try? Let's see, what's this? Center field drill. Put 4 balls out 1 diamond from the short rail and the long rail in front of each pocket. Start with ball in hand in the middle of the table and try to... Oh, okay. I know what that one is. I think Corner 4 Billiards. He's done this drill multiple times, and he's got a nice mat that he can use to be able to give him a target. I understand what was being asked for there. Am I restricted on like an order that I have to shoot these in? Or is the objective just to be able to shoot them in? Actually, you said 1 diamond. Why did I go 2 diamonds? So if I understood you correctly, you said 1 diamond away from the short rail and the long rail in front of the pockets, and I start with the cue ball in the middle of the table. Now, typically, I've seen this done in a variety of ways. Like, I know Corner 4 Billiards, he's got a mat that's basically, I think it's a 3x3 mat that looks like this. And the objective would be to make a ball and get the cue ball to land within this 3x3 grid. So if I were to start, the way I see this, because of the placement of the balls, I'm going to want to use the short rail. So basically, 1 real short rail to come back up towards the middle of the table to be able to do this over and over again. So let's see if I can do this. I honestly don't. Well, I mean, I'm at least here, so I think that's good. And then I'm within here, so I think that's good. Now I'm going to shoot the 4. I don't know if I'm restricted to shoot these in numerical order, or is the restriction just get the cue ball back towards the middle of the table? Okay, so that should be good, I would think. Now, if I want to, here I can do 2 rails. I can actually use a side rail, but I'm going to try to stick to just using 1 rail. be too soft. Yeah, so that was too soft. So let's try that. First of all, did I get that right? Okay, so looks like I might have that. It says no order, and after shooting all 4, reset and keep shooting from the spot you ended. So yeah, so I'm doing it right. So it's how many can I do without missing or without messing up? So that was 3. And so after I shoot all 4, then I got to put 4 back up, and wherever my cue ball stopped, try to go again and see how many I can do. Okay, so that's good. Again, I'm not entirely sure on the restriction of the size of the center table, but hopefully you get the idea. So you can see here where mainly all I'm doing is a rolling cue ball. That might be too soft. Yep, that definitely probably won't count. A lot of these shots I would have to say is more of a rolling cue ball and maybe just a twist of spin depending upon my angles that I may have. Again. Like here, I'm using just a little bit of top spin, just a twist of right spin. Very finesse hit, just so I can get the cue ball near the center of the table again. As long as I'm within this diamond here, and within these diamonds here, that's basically my zone that I'm looking for. So on this 4-ball shot though, this is with a twist of right spin. A little bit of top spin and a twist of right spin. That might actually be too soft. And it is. Alright, I have a feeling I should be able to complete this, at least 4 of them. But this is what makes, like, I'm not going to have a single problem making all 4 shots without missing. But when you add that extra parameter of the cue ball's got to land in a specific area, that's what makes it a little bit more difficult. And then you obviously get to learn, like, what do you got to do to keep meeting that requirement. Again, here, a little bit of top spin so I can get a rolling cue ball, touch of right spin with the correct speed. That's good there. Now I got the same exact shot on the 4-ball, and last time I hit it too soft, so I'm going to try to hit this a little bit harder. And let alone, I still hit it too soft. Like, it's coming back perfectly where I want it to be, I'm just not hitting it hard enough. Now I've seen other variations where I think they put you put the balls here on the second diamonds this way, and you do the same thing. But the objective would be is you have to come off the side rail and come towards the center of the table. So there's variations on how you can do this drill. Slow down. All right, let me make sure I hit this one hard enough, huh? That should be hard enough. There we go. So I think this one here is just top spin. No side spin needed. Because the natural path took me where I needed to be. Here's where I can use a top and a twist of left spin. There we go. So there's 4. So I heard him say that I have to set it back up, and I'm just going to pick 84 now. It doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be numeric. But I have to start from where the cue ball's at. So there's at least 4. So you can really see, I think you can see the importance of being in the center of the table, because then you can easily maneuver the cue ball around. This is going to be a touch of left spin. Oh, I might have hit that one too hard. Okay, we're good there. And we're barely good there. I'm like in the corner. So here, now I've actually created a scenario where I can't do the same thing over and over again. I have to either come 2 rails around, which I don't think I want to do. 2 rails around this way might work, or draw into the side rail and come back towards the middle of the table, which I think that's what I'm going to try to do. But I hit that one too soft. I needed to come just a little bit further, about that much further, and that would have been okay. So there's at least a good drill. And while we're at it, I might as well go ahead and try to do this one that I'm talking about. This is pretty much the same thing, except this one, you are required to use side spin, because that's the only way you're going to get back towards the middle of the table. All right, so if I start in the center of the table, you can see like I'm cutting the ball in, I'm instantly going to hit the side rail, so I have to spin back in order to be able to get position on another ball somewhere near the center of the table. So what we're doing on these shots is using outside spin, and on this first shot I'm doing is right spin with draw. Right? You can pretty much run with the same parameters as long as you're landing within the same zone. Whoa. Barely got that one. So it's less ideal for me to shoot this one. It's more ideal for me to shoot this one and try to land in the zone. There we go. Uh-oh. And we're still good there. And we're still good there. So there's 4. Try it again. I'm putting the balls about half the ball away from the side rail. So like this is something I definitely consider to be a drill, because I'm roughly doing the same thing over and over again, which is a bottom outside spin shot. So bottom outside means sometimes it'll be left spin, sometimes it'll be right spin, depending upon which shot I take. Like this one, for example, this is going to be a bottom right spin shot. Pull the cue ball back towards the middle of the table. Ooh. Let's see here. Now this one is left. Oh, so there. I was able to make 5 on that one. It would look like, where I landed the cue ball, it looked like I would have to try to zigzag back towards the center of the table, which would have required a firmer hit. All right. So there's that. This is actually fun. I actually enjoy doing this. Okay, cool. So I was doing everything correctly as far as the size of the landing mark. Like I said, Corner 4 Billiards, if you check out his Facebook page, Corner 4 Billiards, he actually has a mat that's the perfect size that you can put in the middle of the table, so that way you have a landing zone. Like if I wanted to, I could probably just put down some like medical tape, like white medical tape, to be able to draw the same size box, and then try to be able to get the cue ball to land in there. So that way I visually have a zone. Or like you saw the zone that I was doing, to where it had to be one diamond away from center on the short rails, but then one diamond away from the side pockets on the long rail, and that would be the zone that you're supposed to be able to make the cue ball in. So whether you put the balls in two different ways, you saw the first demonstration was one diamond away from the side rail and the long rail, and shoot them into the corners, or put them half a ball away from the second diamond on the side rails, and be able to try to always maneuver the cue ball back towards the middle of the table. And how often or how many can you do before you mess up? Because you can make the ball and not land back in the center of the table. You have to start back over. Or if you obviously miss, you'd have to start back over. Let's see here. Okay. This is a wagon wheel drill. Nate wants me to try the clock, Niels Feijen's clock drill. I'll be happy to go ahead and try that one. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do the entire thing, but we'll see. Certainly give it a try. Now this one requires all the balls, but I don't mind doing all the balls on this one, because it's not like a ridiculous setup. It's not a pattern setup. It's something that I can certainly continue to try over and over again. And if I remember correctly, you always have the one ball, one diamond away from here, and then put a ball at, I think he said at every diamond. Let's see how far this stretches. Put a ball at every diamond. This is very similar to a wagon wheel type of drill. And what is the benefit of this one? Well, understanding the movement of the cue ball and what it takes to maneuver the cue ball to different spots, especially if you want to be able to break up clusters. Now, didn't he have balls that went up this way? I have more balls, but I thought what he had set up was just a regular thing, where he just used one set of balls. Right? Is this the right way to set it up? Do I have this set up correctly? Oh, thank you. I saw that. I missed the corner. But do I at least have this set up correctly, even though I have to grab some balls out of my other set? Now, anybody that's not familiar with this is probably wondering, what the heck am I about to do? Okay, good. So I've got this set up. So if I remember correctly, I think the cue ball starts at the center of the table. And so the objective is I have to make the one ball and have the cue ball billiard into the two. Then I put the two ball right here and shoot again from the same spot and have it billiard into the three, billiard into the 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, all the way around the table. So the first thing you're going to want to take note of is, well, from this position, what is the tangent line if I were to just shoot this ball in and not have any spins, no top spin, bottom spin, or whatever? It looks like it's going to run right into the two ball. So every time you think about that, that lets you know what you're going to use on your next shot. So if I'm correct and I hit this roughly with the center ball, medium speed, do I run into the two ball? Okay, good. So what should automatically click is if I'm going to do this again, and we saw that a center cue ball brings me to here, and I have to come, which was almost the perfect tangent line, and I have to come underneath the tangent line in order to get to the 3, that should automatically tell you that you're going to need some form of draw in order to be able to hit this. Let's see if I can draw into the 3 ball. Now, I remember in his video, though, he says he likes to use a touch of side spin, left spin, just in case if he hits the rail, so that way the cue ball can still spin into the 3-ball. I'm going to try to perfectly draw into the to the 3-ball with no side spin, to where if I draw it enough, I can still hit the rail and still be able to hit the 3. Oh, look at that. I got all the way to the 4-ball. Well, look at that. So that's not good. Now, the purpose of this, though, is you don't start completely back over. You just keep on going until you're done. Look at that. I was able to draw past the 3-ball. So if you didn't think it was possible, clearly now you can tell that it is. So now I need to not use as much draw. Oh, let's try it again. Now the thing is, I might be slightly off with my setups here, because I don't have reinforcement labels to make sure that I'm always doing the exact same thing. There we go. So there's that. Well, we already know I can hit the 4, but now can I do it when it's the 4's turn? Now, here's the cool part that's soon to be coming up with the drill. Side spin is going to be necessary, just not yet. Oh, chalk is free, right? And always remember that when you do miscue, you'll have that little chalk mark that you're going to want to take off the cue ball, because you don't want that chalk mark to end up causing any form of skid or cling on your shots. You can easily just like scratch it off with your thumbnail, with your fingernail, or just wipe it off. Okay, so that's good. So now, the question is going to be, do I want to attempt to draw into the 5-ball? Because is that even possible? I don't think it is. Or let me reemphasize that I don't think I have a stroke that allows it to be possible. But here's what I do know, is I can currently make the cue ball hit anywhere along this rail. So if I come into the rail at the right angle, the natural angle will allow me to hit the 5-ball. So that's pretty much what I'm going to be guessing. So I already know that a perfect stun shot takes me there, and if I look and see that this angle in will most likely be that angle out. So I'll most likely miss the 5. So I can try to aim to where maybe I'll hit the rail right here, just to see if I'm going to hit the 5-ball. And here is where I'm probably going to use a twist of left spin. There we go. So now, we saw that I drew underneath the tangent line with a little bit of spin in order to be able to hit the 5-ball. But now, how am I going to hit the 6? Clearly, I can't do the same thing in order to hit the 6. Now this is where I have to see that if I want to keep using roughly the same amount of side spin, I'm going to want to start hitting the rail sooner, which means now I'm going to be aiming for here. So now we're pretty much trying the perfect stun shot, and we'll use a twist of left spin. All right, so that's good. So now I can't use the perfect stun shot because I know the perfect stun shot with a twist of left spin causes me to hit the 6-ball, or hit this time here. So maybe I can take off the side spin and still use the perfect stun shot. Let's try that. Let's just try the perfect stun with no side spin. Oh, looks like I got the same exact thing. So, because I got the same exact thing, now I'm going to try a rolling cue ball. which means I want my cue ball to hit somewhere just on the right side, my right side of the stun line, of the tangent line. Oh, there we go. So no side spin is going to take me to the 8 ball. So I can remember that when I get to the 8 ball. But now I'm going to do the same thing and use a rolling cue ball with a twist of left spin just to see if I can hit that 7 ball. And then I'm going to take the left spin off to try to hit the 8 ball. So you see how you basically deduce what you need to do in order to achieve your goal. And so for anybody that's new to pool or learning pool, when I say a rolling cue ball, that just means I'm hitting slightly above center so I can eliminate the slide that the cue ball starts with. So now, we saw earlier that if I just roll the cue ball, I should naturally hit the 8. Oh! Just barely missed it. Let's try it again. 7 ball. Where's the 7 ball? I think here's the only downfall for having a pro-am table, which is a table that has a ball return, is constantly having to go down there to get the ball versus drop pockets. Look at that, same thing. So maybe now I'll actually put just less left spin than I did for the 6 ball. I used a little bit of left spin on the 6 ball, and I'm going to use less than what I used on the 6 ball. Oh, okay. So from there, I have to use a little bit more. I think I should be able to hit it this time. Use a little bit more spin. That should hit it. There we go. So now we're going to take that spin off so that way we can lengthen the shot and be able to hopefully hit the 9 ball. Whatever spin I used on that last shot there, I'm just going to use a little less. There we go. Now we might actually be getting to the portion where I'm using a true rolling cue ball and just letting the natural roll of the ball do the work for me. So a little bit of top spin. Perfect. And it looks like if the 10 ball wasn't there, I might be able to do the same exact shot and hit the 11 ball. A little bit of top spin. Ooh, oh, I still hit it, so that works. As long as you hit it. You don't have to hit it perfectly, as long as you hit it. But now, in order to get to the corner pocket, or to get further and further away from this rail, now we might have to start using a little bit of inside spin. Or I might be able to cheat the pocket a little bit as well. But I'm actually going to put just a twist of inside spin on this shot here. A little bit of right spin. Perfect. You made the ball. Now, the question becomes, do I want to 1 rail into the 13 ball, or do I want a 2 rail into the 13 ball? Because remember, you should already have the knowledge of how to hit this rail. So if you find the perfect angle to hit this rail, you'll come back into hitting the 13. But I actually want to see if I can just do 1 rail. So we know that a twist of inside spin brought me perfectly to this corner pocket. Now we're going to use more inside spin, and I have to hit it a little bit harder as well, just to see if I can get to the 13 ball. Oh, look at that. so much spin that I can actually get to the 14 ball. So the amount of spin that I put on the ball, I'm going to take a little bit off. So I hope everybody's finding this to be helpful rather than just watching me play straight pool or play against the Ghost. So we're going to try the same exact thing and take a little bit of spin off. Oh, look at that. Same thing. Right? So hopefully I shouldn't have a problem hitting the 14 ball when it's the 14 ball's turn. Oh. Okay, so I took too much off. Now we're going to add some back on. And then, of course, if you want to progressively measure this drill, how many can you do before you screw up? And then is it possible for you to be able to do every one on the first try? That might look good. Bingo. But if you want to be fair to yourself, I wouldn't suggest trying to do every single shot on the first try. It's just I would look at it as how many shots does it take you to get through all of the shots? And I don't even know, I haven't been counting, I don't know how many I'm on. All right, so we already know what it should take to be able to make this one. Right? So at least I did that one on the first try since I already did it a couple of times, so that's good. Now, do I really want to try to one rail spin into the 15 ball? Because I think I can. Or should I two rail? First, let's go ahead and try the one rail. Let's see how much inside spin I can put on this ball and really kill that angle. Oh, look at that! Gee whiz! I can go. It looks like I can go here. That was nuts. I didn't think I can get that much spin. Oh, not quite. Look at that. Barely missed it by half a diamond. So now we'll use a little bit more spin. Oops. Oh, I still didn't touch. Well, I might have grazed the one ball. So hopefully what this is illustrating to everybody too is how much, I'm going to use the term break the angle. Right? The cue ball automatically wants to go in a certain, when it goes into the rail at a certain angle coming off of the object ball. But depending upon the angle at which the object ball is going into the rail, as long as it's steep enough, you can literally break the angle into the opposite direction rather than having it go in the natural outbound angle. And that's basically all determined with the amount of side spin that you're putting on the ball. Get it? About half a ball away. Now, just for giggles and grins though, let's try the two rail routes. Let's see if I can hit that 15 ball from a two rail route. And so what should that two rail route be? Should it be somewhere right around here? Maybe between here? If I pass the side pocket, I'm pretty sure I'm not going to hit it. So it probably should be somewhere around here and here. So I have to remember, what did I use in order to get here? I think it was a rolling ball with some left spin. Oh, there's a scratch. Let's see, maybe the two rail route isn't the right shot to do just yet. Where's my 14 ball? I'll try to stay in the same order. So we'll try the 2-rail route a couple more times, because maybe the 2-rail route is not correct. Oh, maybe it is correct. Bingo! Okay, so a good 2-rail route. Alright, we already know I can make the 1 ball with a 1-rail route, but let's go ahead and do a 2-rail route. And we saw that I hit here to here, so now it looks like I might want to go from here to here. Nope, that's not going to cut it. I don't think I stunned the ball enough off the first rail. Bring the tip down a little bit, still use the same amount of side spin. Oh, look at that, where's my first miss? That was my first miss in this drill. That's actually not bad. I went this long without missing the ball. All right, so we see what we need to do to hit the 2 ball. Nope. Now I gotta hit the middle of what I'm doing. Alright, so let's bring our tip down just a pinch. That should do it. Nope, that was the 2 ball. Alright, so I'm hitting here. I need to hit here. I need to hit right here on the rail. Alright, so I think I know what I need to do here. Same thing. So I shouldn't have an issue hitting the 2 ball when I get there. Alright, so that might be it. So I actually just played the stun shot. No spin. All I did was play the stun shot. So I just gotta make sure I hit it hard enough. And it looks like the ball will naturally go where I need it to go. No spin. Bingo, look at that. So really, I think if I play the same shot now, but add spin, then I should come to the 2 ball. I'm going to try to play the same shot, but with some side spin. Oh, too much side spin. Look at that. So I'm going to take a little bit of that side spin off. We're almost done. Three more shots. Ugh. Now let's take a little bit of side spin off. Well, I thought I took some off. I might have accidentally stroked more, like on my final stroke, threw a little bit more spin on it than I wanted to. That might be okay. Oh, barely missed it. So I need a twist more of spin than what I used on that one. Just a twist more. So this really should be illustrating to y'all how much of a difference just a little bit of spin does, whether it's top spin, bottom spin, left spin, or right spin. But just a little bit has so much of a dramatic effect. So, I thought I added more. I'm going to add more again. So even if I would have made it, that might not be enough. So here's the cool part that I haven't tried yet. I could try a 3-rail. It doesn't have to be 2 rails. I could purposely go for the back rail. I haven't tried that yet. Let's see what that causes. Alright, see that? There's a route that's going to allow me to hit the 3 ball. But some of y'all might be wondering, is this something I really should be doing? The answer is yes, because hopefully you should be able to see, thought I just heard my computer click. Hopefully you should be able to see like how I'm able to progress and learn what I need to do to make it through this drill. Bingo, right? So there we go. Nice 3-rail route. And hopefully the idea would be is after you do this drill successfully, you're not done. It's how much better can you do it. Like you see all these failed attempts that I'm doing at being able to hit the ball. And so I want to be able to have less failed attempts. Oh, look at that. I just needed to hit it harder. So here again, I can still do the 3-rail route if I want to, or I can do the 2-rail route. But now I know I have to draw the ball a little bit closer to that corner pocket to be able to spin this way. You know what I mean? There's the hit on the 4 ball. So if I hit the short rail sooner than what I did, then I should be able to hit the 3 ball. There we go. One more. If anybody's been counting the number of shots I took to be able to complete this, maybe you can tell me. Because then I know I have something, like I have a goal to work towards. And how many shots does it take me to do this? Oh, look at that. I can almost come all the way to the side pocket. Yep. So that means I hit the rail too late. I need to try to hit the rail sooner than what I did. Like that, maybe. And we're done! So there's the, what did he call it? Was it around the clock drill? I think that's what he called it. Except, how many shots did it take me to do that? Oh, holy crap. I wasn't here when I saw, I hope the notification came up, but I'm going to go ahead and highlight this again. Loping CSF, thank you so much for the $10 super chat. You're saying, thanks for these. Hopefully you can take some of these and ones recommended in chat and actually do something to focus on, practice on getting better. That's exactly it. So like I said, if you take what I define as a drill, which is taking mechanics of the game and continuously working on them over and over and over and over, because eventually that's how you're actually going to improve. Throwing the balls onto the table and just trying to run out, yes, that is a form of practice, but you're having to unleash every skill possible in order to be able to run out the pattern. So it's basically a way to sum up all of your training, right? When you want to try to be able to run out a rack, you're trying to pull all your training together and run the racks. But that's not drilling. That's not taking something that you're specifically weak at and trying to make it better. That's what I consider to be a drill. Now, I can see that I'm coming up on the 2-hour mark, so I think we're going to be pretty much done with doing drills for the night. Now, I'm happy to take some questions before I actually call it a night. And Corner for Billiards took me 1,086 attempts. You're probably not wrong. I can imagine it took me quite a few attempts in order to do that, because there were 19 shots. So the ultimate goal would clearly be able to do all 19 shots in 19 tries, right? That would be the perfect attempt. But if you want to be reasonable, does it take 30 attempts? Does it take 35, or does it take 40, or whatever? So that way you can be able to measure how much better you're actually getting. Let's see here. William McDowell, what is your favorite brand of table and what size is your Pro-Am table? Well, brand, it's going to have to be diamond, right? I have a diamond table. And my table here is currently an 8-foot table. I eventually plan on getting a 9-foot table, but I have to upgrade my house in order to do that, because I want to take the table out of my garage and actually have it in like a living room den style of room, because I think that'll help, one, with the acoustics, two, it'll help with the temperature, because even with my air conditioner on right now, it's not desirably cool enough in here. It is a little bit warm, but if the table is at least inside my home, it'll be much easier to control the temperature, and I think it'll be a lot easier on the acoustics as well, as far as microphone placements and whatnot. But that's not to say that there's nothing wrong with Brunswick's tables. I played on plenty of Brunswick's tables when I was growing up. I think those are lovely. I think the Rasson tables are also good too, but those are drop pockets, right? So there's pros and cons, I think, to everything. So for me, when I'm practicing, like running out tables, clearly having a ball return is nice, because I just come to one central location, pick up all the balls, and be able to rack and continuously practice. Versus if I have drop pockets, I have to go to each individual pocket and pull all the balls out, right? So there's pros and cons to it all. But when it comes to doing drills, like you saw here, having a Pro-Am table with a ball return is kind of a slight disadvantage. It'd be much easier to be able to reach into the pocket and pull the ball back out, rather than having to always go back around to the ball return. So, 6 one, half dozen of the other. It's definitely going to become a personal preference at that point to know which one is going to be better suited for you. The main reason why I have an 8-foot table as opposed to a 9-foot table is because a 9-foot table will not comfortably fit in this garage, I don't think. If I were to rail shoot from the short rail, the butt of my cue will get pretty close to the wall. So obviously extend the table, and I might come very close to hitting the wall. So that's the main reason why I ended up shooting an 8-foot here. The other reason why I chose to getting an 8-foot as opposed to a 9-foot is because of the area that I live in. It's predominantly ran with leagues, APA and BCA, and they all play on 7-foot tables. And I primarily do like to play on a 9-foot table. So the pool halls that I do go hang out in, they do have 9-foot tables, but since I mostly play League, I mostly play on 7-foot tables. So having a table that's kind of in the middle, obviously 7, 8, 9, having a table that's in the middle, it's not too difficult for me to be able to adjust to a smaller table, going from 8 to 7, or from going to 8 to 9. But at some point in time, like I said, I do plan on eventually upgrading and having a 9-foot table, but I'm going to have a bigger house that's going to be able to hold a 9-foot table. It's not a bad idea, cornerfoot billiards. Shoot the round-the-clock drill and post the least number of attempts. Like, can you do it in 19? Because Niels Feijen didn't even do it in 19. If you watch his video, he tells you on certain shots it took him multiple tries before he finally got it. So that's actually not a bad thing. David Naylor, you're saying it's glad to see me back on YouTube. Excuse me. There's a lot of great content creators, but you like the way I present my information, and have a good holiday. Really do appreciate it, and same goes to you. Looks like Sensei Nate is on board with doing the round-the-clock drill and see how many attempts that you can actually do it. So when I go back and watch how many attempts it actually do, I might go ahead and clip it and post it as a separate video to say it took me this many attempts to be able to complete the round-the-clock drill. So next time I do it, I want to be able to complete it in lesser amount of attempts, kind of like high run. Every time I get a better number, either a 79 or higher, I'm going to go ahead and post it. So for every time I improve the round-the-clock drill and shooting it in the least number of shots, I might just go ahead and post it. Jason says, now you're asking if my table is measured from corner pocket to corner pocket. I actually don't know. I don't typically think that's how pool tables are measured. I know that's how monitors are measured. When you say a 17-inch monitor, it's referring to the hypotenuse angle from corner to corner, going through the center of the screen. I don't think that's typically how they do pool tables. When they say 4x8, they're referring to the 4 would be the short rail, and the 8 would be the long rail. And the table is always half the width than it is the length. So mine being 4x8, if I had a 9-foot table, that means the length of the table would be 9, and the width would be 4.5. And you heard me say that we play on typically bar box tables, which is a 3.5 by 7-foot table. Oh, okay. So we did see that we have. Looks like maybe the stream might have glitched a couple of times. I don't see that I have any dropped frames. So that just might have been a hiccup in either me streaming going up to the cloud and then coming down from the cloud. I think if you watch this on a replay, there'll be no glitch whatsoever. At least that's my assumption on this. But okay, we're now at the 2-hour mark. I think this has been a lot of fun. I think I'm gonna look forward to doing this. And so, like I said, next time I can try level 2 of Fedor Gorst's center line drill by moving half a diamond back. I can obviously try the round the clock drill again to see if it takes me less number of attempts, or let's come up with some other drills that I can try to do live for everybody, see how many attempts it takes me to do them successfully, break them down and talk about the pros and cons of what the drill should help be able to do. And yeah, that it's not only obviously going to help me because now I'm actually drilling. Like I said, I don't typically do drills. I usually just practice. And if I want to practice something, like if I want to do jump shots, then I'll just do a jump shot drill, just set up a jump shot and keep shooting them over and over again. Or if I want to improve my banks, I'll set up a line of bank shots, do my measurements, bank over and over and over. Like, those are at least similar basic drills that I've done. But drills like this, I don't typically do. So the fact that I'm doing them now, I think it's going to be a lot of fun. And like I said, not only is it going to benefit me because I'm now doing drills, focusing on my mechanics, focusing on my fundamentals, but then if any of y'all are timid or just are not sure about doing the drills and seeing me do the drills, especially if I struggle being able to do the drill, then hopefully you see the benefits of watching me struggle and watching me get better. Because that's exactly what you're going to be able to go through. So I'm going to be hopefully your gateway into doing this kind of stuff, and then being able to hear from y'all how much better your games are actually improving. So I think with that, I'm going to go ahead and log off. I see that I have 45 of y'all left in here. This has been a lot of fun. I'm hopefully going to be able to do this more often. And then I still plan on doing straight pull streams, and still doing recorded content and stuff. But as I said before, I'm still trying to get better from being sick. I'm not taking any more medication except over-the-counter medication to help my cough and stuff. So I've at least taken what I've needed to take to help get over the flu. I just got to be able to get over the remaining symptoms that, from what the doctor told me, is going to last for a couple of weeks before this cough is finally gone. But we'll just have to wait and see. So yeah, if anything, I think the next stream that I'll do is I still have 2 matches from APA last session. We're now in a new session. So I think my next live stream is going to be able to review those matches, just to be able to wrap up that session. And then, like I said, I'm only playing on Wednesdays now, so it'll take me 2 weeks of play, possibly more, because there could be chances where I play 1 week and I don't play the next week, but then I play the week after. So it'll take a minimum of 2 weeks before I can review more of my APA matches as I gather up the video content and whatnot to be able to do that. And then, of course, be able to do my straight pull streams again. And then one last reminder, I did talk about how I want to start doing some virtual straight pull competition streams. That's still a thing. I still have some kinks that I have to work out on how I'm actually going to do it, have guests on my platform and be able to facilitate, moderate, and commentate two players playing straight pull against each other in high run attempts, race to a certain number, but that's going to be some new content. So basically, you're already getting a glimpse of the stuff that I have planned for next year, next calendar year, and I'm already getting started on it now so I can work out the kinks of how all this stuff is going to go. But yeah. Excuse me. I'm going to go ahead and sign up for the night. I want to thank everybody for being here on Facebook and or YouTube. If you haven't done so already, if you're on YouTube, please give the stream a thumbs up. And if you like what you saw here, consider subscribing to the channel. If you're not familiar with my Facebook page, Lil Chris Pool Player, then be sure to also go along there and give that page a follow, as well as like the stream on there as well. Have a good night, everybody.